دلوقتي ايه؟
بسم الله.
بس ها؟
تيست.
تشيك تيست. سمعني انت. بسم الله.
سامعك
1 2 3.
سامعك
اتكلم
سامعك
اتكلم. تشيك. بسم الله. 1 2 3.
سامعك سامعني.
سامع. اتكلم شويه معلش كده.
بسم الله الرحمن، هو في لاج عشان النت عندي وحش. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. تيست تيست تيست.
لا، انا صوت كويس. الداخلي بتاعك كويس جدا.
طيب خش بقى على
ماشي.
الترجمة.
نخش على الانجليزي، عربي، فرنساوي. تمام كده.
يلا ماشي. لو بتتكلم نفسك. عربي. صلي يا عم. احنا اتنين بس وعم غنام. طبيب. اه، نفس الصف. لا احنا الاتنين بس.
بس ويخرب بيت دماغك انا لعبت منك يا ستي. تلاقي قعدت فوق الكلاس بايظه والدنيا قعدت بايظه. قعدت بايظه. بص على كده.
اه لا لا، مفيش لفة من هنا. دكتور عصام، انا سامع صوت يا. انت فاتح اقفله وهقفل الصوت من هنا.
Fuck. Allô, 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 allô. Ah. Allô, 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 allô. Allô, 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 allô. It's okay? What? Deux. Ah yes, please. Thank you. What? It's not Mohamed yet. So Amadou. Amadou is Amadou.
Hello. Hello. Check. Check.
Yeah.
Check. Check. Test. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Test mic. Check mic. Check mic. Test mic. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. تمام كده؟ حسين عملت سند ريكويست بس عشان هشرع الزوم. One presentation. Excuse me. One presentation to the
There is one presentation.
Yeah.
What?
No.
What you say?
This is Zoom.
Put back the normal one.
No. Okay.
Thank you. What are you doing exactly? That's okay. Put back.
Stop share. I need to share the Zoom. حسين اعمل لي وقف لي الزوم. الغي لي اعمل لي ستوب شير من عندك بالهوست.
I know. But I want to be sure that it's the good one.
قفلته؟
Can we check it?
ايه؟ كله من عندي انا؟ ماشي. ثانية يا حسين. هشاير من عندي انا يا حسين وخلاص. هشاير من عندي انا. هشاير من عندي هناك.
Thank you.
Differently, we have the picture is this one is on the one question and the max. How do you activate them? Yeah.
Beata, tu peux t'asseoir?
Can you sit down?
Now?
Yeah, yeah, because we start in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I propose. Yeah.
Je disais, après, on va.
Test, say. Here.
Okay, put it here. That's good. Thank you.
Oui, il faut changer.
On va remplacer en.
On peut
Non,
faire un long verre.
non, pas le même comme-
Non,
Je
non.
pense que tu peux dire que tu le représentes.
ouais.
Là, c'est trop tard, là. S'asseoir.
this is.
It's okay, it's okay, it's
No,
okay.
they approved the second one.
No, but we removed the, don't put back this one, it's fine.
They've changed.
Oh, yeah, put
We
back
all-
this one, it's fine. Have a seat. We don't need to keep, I removed the titles. Ah, it's you,
My
it's your
full
name.
name,
Okay, you,
yes.
okay, so that's fine like this. Thank you.
Because I think.
But we are all doctor anyways.
Have a seat, we are all doctors.
Is the full name.
The
that-
doctor,
Have a seat, Beata.
His name.
It's fine, have a seat.
Amadou,
Yeah, Zamadou.
but he's representing more. Exactly.
I'm in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
The third one is full that will come with a seat. And so I'm from the coalition of NGOs.
Are you doing that?
Fine.
Yeah.
You are here.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Hello, I'm Amadou. You can transmit you guys.
Your press from
Yes, yes, I represented.
It's a special when you was dressed.
It was an anniversary club,
Ah,
yes.
so not everyone has one.
Oh, no, for conversations.
But they do, okay.
We'll get mine.
Oh, you can get yours.
Yeah.
What is the male version?
Oh, it's just, you pick it and style it the way you want.
Oh, really?
It's just a fabric.
So if me and Amadou, we want one?
Just need two plats. He will
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
Just make a shirt.
Yeah.
We wear African fabric more in Ghana.
Representing Accra
We see rent money.
and family.
The NGO, which is part of Conwas, is in Tamale.
Okay, there's a coalition of.
The coalition of all the NGOs. So if you are not, the NGO is not. So I'm the chairperson.
Your association is inside. the
It's inside.
coalition.
That's why I was elected. So more like the board here.
Okay. I appoint myself for technical advisor.
Even co-opted members. To answer questions or?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have 10 minutes. What do you want?
This is to one people that, okay, now you have 3 minutes to talk, and you have 1 minute to ask.
Oh, okay.
Just a wanting to film.
Because it's here, I thought I had 3 minutes.
So we can.
But then those online, I don't know if they can see it.
The one online. You will.
We get a microphone, maybe.
I put them here for the moment. Sorry? Yeah, so they are. Do I do what you? Yeah, to bring people don't have that.
We can ensure that the voices of affected communities and frontline watch flags
That's one.
directly informed in the.
National. This. What specific study?
Exactly. I just summarized this, the specific steps must be taken to make the reality. Actually, and to use.
Oh,
But the questions will be here.
no problem. I just have
You
to.
want
be
to double
sure.
check? No, no, there are also all the layers that you said. Yes.
Now you understand why normally we put 10 minutes in the introduction because the room is going to be empty for.
Yeah, people slowly come from London.
They're still eating.
That's The issue is that
But foreign industry signing.
The two ministers in charge of hotels and tourism, executive secretary is going with them to Spain next week. So we need to talk to both of them, which we prepared their speech for them. Last week I reviewed their speech. So we now wait to talk to the foreign minister and the first minister. Because I guess that's how it's supposed to. So our second minister of communication. That was the one chance that we need diplomats and one of the countries.
Hey, boss. You see, I'm here. Good are you? Well, it's your first of the tea.
How's it going, man? Welcome.
No, good,
We're still waiting, people are coming.
Yeah.
So it's,
Yes, yes.
yeah.
Okay, no, that's just starting.
Yeah.
Now, wait.
And you're coming with your energy, which is good.
Yes, yeah, you know, not bad.
Yeah.
Better.
Yeah, yeah. Good. You.
c'est bien que vous soyez dans la salle.
Je suis là, c'est vrai.
Vous êtes l'interprète. Oui.
C'est juste pour créer l'intérêt. We know. We have a lot of work. That's okay.
It changed.
Change from
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, absolutely. Please come.
Thank you.
Africa engagement on the UN conference. Research, how are you?
Good, good,
You're
good.
well? Please have a seat. Africa, the UN conference. We need.
Fair story.
We are going to start a session about the UN 2026 conference. If you want to join, it's here.
Thank you.
It's starting now.
And then there are speakers.
Okay, I have to know if there is names.
Try to bring people in. We will just wait for 5 minutes and we will start. You know that after lunch, it's a little bit. Have a seat. We are going to start. So we are going to start the session. First, I want to thank you. I know that it's difficult to come just after lunch. And the subject we are going to speak about is really essential for us. As you know, there is a very exciting moment for the water sector, which is the UN 2026 Water Conference. On the other hand, there is something very frightening for our sector, is the humanitarian needs, which are growing and which are non-answered. So the objective of this session is to demonstrate that we can connect those two questions. The session is organized by various members. You can see that on the screen. I wanted specifically to thank Senegal delegation. We have with us the Deputy Sherpa for the UN 2026 conference. So that's very important for us. But as you can see also, the session is organized by Action Against Hunger, French Water Partnership, UNICEF, the Water Department, which is a hydro diplomacy journal. And then we've got also, of course, the co-host of the UN conference. Plus, this is supported by the Swiss government. Regarding the outline of the session, this session is made for you. So you will have 30 minutes to exchange about the process. And of course, so that will be the center of the session. But then, of course, we are going to present you about the water conference, to present you about the humanitarian challenges. Okay, and then you will have the room to ask questions. We will have also a panel that will contribute to that. We have the list of people on the screen here. Okay, so we have the chance to have a panel of African speakers. The focus of the session is also about African engagement in the UN 2026 conference. First, we are going to start with the big question regarding the humanitarian challenges in the world today with a focus on Africa. So first, it's very good that you're here because most of the sessions at the Cairo Water Week are about development. This session is not about development. It's about the humanitarian situation in the world and specifically in Africa today. Have a seat, Tobias. We have a problem of video. Hold on. It's okay?
Those who are online want to see it.
Of course.
We see you online. Your presentation.
Big picture, just open the Google. Google page. Just think of this link.
Yes.
wrong.
What do you mean it's wrong?
One link, click on it.
Let's acknowledge him.
Google page.
Do you want me to use your USB?
You have used
Yeah, of course.
USB ممكن
ماشي
يكون
اوكي اسهل دي خلاص وريت
خلاص.
وريت
Where it is.
1 minute that's the left
Quoi que j'ai raison. J'espère que j'ai raison. C'est bien.
Yes. presentation برضه مش فيديو here
Yes.
Ça sera lui.
نفس الكلام بس مش عارف نفس الكلام مفيش فرق
Fish link برضه.
If you save it on the computer.
نفس الكلام برضه يعني هو برضه قبل البرزنتيشن مش فيديو
لا اتفقت excuse-me non je
This link leading to the video. This link leading to the video. Okay, I think.
Honestly, I don't know.
You mean the video?
هو لينك بس دي ما بيفتحش يعني. ما بيفتحش.
Is it?
Okay, excuse me. Do you mean the meeting link?
No
Open second only.
But why don't you put it on the computer here and take the video from here? Share the video from here.
There is no video.
This is not visible.
No, I don't have any link. I mean, the link is, it's you who made the link.
Oh, understand. You mean the Zoom link? Zoom
Yeah, the
meeting.
Zoom link.
Okay, we are already on the Zoom.
Okay, so what is the problem now?
There
You
is
will share the
no-
presentation in the Zoom link?
Well,
will share.
the people should see.
Choose the
presentation.
presentation.
Okay,
Yeah.
people right now are seeing the meeting and also we seeing
Of course, yes.
So it's okay, there's no problem.
Okay, that's perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
so the people can see that.
Oh, yeah.
So what is the question now?
They cannot see the slides.
They cannot see that.
They cannot
That's
let them stand.
They should join again. They should rejoin. They said they should rejoin.
Do you want?
They already made a share screen. So,
Please, have you found people joining online? Have people joined online?
yeah.
Have you seen them online? The participants list?
So they can see that? Yes. That's perfect. Yes. Okay. Sorry for this interruption. So we go back. So now you should see the screen. Can see that. For example, Solon, can you send us a little message on that?
Jean, if you hear me, this is David. Hi, everyone. I can see your slides. I cannot see a camera on the meeting room, but your slides appear here.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so we're going to go.
Yeah, I'm
Thank-
Modok from Ghana. I can see the slides.
Perfect. Excellent. Okay, so we're starting by the presentation of the humanitarian WASH challenges with a focus on Africa. And to start with that, I'm going to start with an indicator. You know that the JMP went out last summer, and that basically this is a very interesting element because some of the development indicators, like the one about access to limited water service, gives some indication about the humanitarian situation. And you can see that if we look at this indicator, over half of the people who don't have access to water, who are using a limited water services, are living in sub-Saharan Africa. So that's the first thing to keep in mind. So we have an issue of access to the service in Africa that will have humanitarian implications. The second point is about the curve you can see here is about the people in need, in humanitarian need. The first thing we can see is that this curve is growing year after year. You have more people that are in humanitarian need. And in 2025, for example, there were 307 people in humanitarian need. So that's the first very important thing, not facing this regular growth of the humanitarian need. The second point to keep is that 47% of those people are living in sub-Saharan Africa. So if there is a continent which is affected by humanitarian, this continent is Africa. The third thing to keep in mind, which is also very important, is that there are many humanitarian needs. You have needs for food, you have need for shelter, you have need for protection. But half of the humanitarian needs are about water, sanitation, and hygiene. So 1 person on 2 is on a WASH humanitarian need. Another indicator that can interest you is the forcibly displaced population. We know that people move from their house because of many reasons. It can be a conflict, internal or international. It can be the climate change. It can be political constraints. Okay? When we look at this curve, we can see that from 2011, it started to grow and it's growing endlessly. Today, we have 122 million of people who are on the move. So that's the first thing to remember. Most of those people are not crossing borders. They are moving internally. They are internal displaced people. If we look at Africa, Africa represents 38% of the people on the move at the global level. So here also, I think the African continent, we need to flag this risk for the African continent. If we look more precisely the African situation, most of the people on the move, 70% are IDPs, which means that they are moving inside their own countries. This is essentially due to conflict. And as an example, you have the issues about Sahel, Sudan, DRC. We all know about that. There is a concept that is used by a lot of actors, including the World Bank, which is the concept about fragile, conflict, and violent contexts. In 2025, we have 38 countries that are considered in conflict, violent, or fragile context. Out of these 38 countries, 30 of them are located in Africa. So here also, the issue of violence, the issue of economic fragility, the issue of governance problem, half of the planet is focused on Africa about this problem. Okay, so as you can see, the picture is not very attractive, but we need to be aware of that because we need to respond to that. Another point to keep in mind is that we have an issue of funding in the humanitarian sector, and this issue of funding is especially important when it touches to the WASH sector, to the water and sanitation sector. If we take 2024, you see that there has been a request, there was an appeal which was around $40 billion, and the WASH sector just asked for $4 billion. So 10%. 10% of the global envelope. And this has been fulfilled at the level of 37%. So what we can say here is that first, the WASH sector is underfunded. And secondly, the WASH sector is not asking for enough money on the global humanitarian envelope. So we have an issue of funding the humanitarian response. And of course, it's not only funding water for the people or sanitation for the people, it's also funding the coordination mechanisms. If you don't have coordination, you are going to lose in terms of effectiveness and in terms of efficiency. And at the end of that, you have people who are going to die. So here, the focus of the session is about those people. So now I'm going to pass the floor to our honorable guest, Amadou Gueye, who is the Deputy Sherpa for Senegal, and he's going to present us about the UN Water Conference 2026, and then we will see how we can connect those two dimensions, the humanitarian dimension and the UN Water Conference convention.
Thank you, John, and
I can click for you.
okay, I can. Thank you. I think I plan to have my presentation in French, but I see mostly on the room people are English speaker. I will go for English, but we can understand it is the French English. Firstly, I want really to acknowledge the presence of our Deputy Minister, Sir David, and also to thank to you, South Africa, for supporting Senegal and also Africa in the position that when we get the resolution, but also you continue to have this support, notably in the event that we organize in South Africa. Thank you for that, but also thank you for being with us, and also to thank all the people that are joining us for this special session regarding the humanitarian angle of WASH. We are very happy, John, to be involved in this process. But when we designed the program of the Water World Conference, we see it to have inclusiveness, but also to have focus on some area that maybe people not go deeply that how we can spotlight this area. And I think the humanitarian angle of WASH is one of these things. Regarding the conference, the UN Water Conference 26, the resolution that voted in I think September give mandate to Senegal and Emirate Arab Uni for having this conference co-hosted by the Republic of Senegal and the United Emirates Arab. The conference will be held in December 26 in Emirate. Right now, we do not determine the city where that we have it, but it will be in Emirate. The thing is, when we design the 26, we have it to have this kind of continuity, and not just maybe to have it as an event on plus one, but how we can maybe build a roadmap regarding the global commitment of the world regarding the water issue. It's why when we design it, we build it to the 2026. We can see it also through the interactive dialogue. The most of them that we have in 2023, we bring it, even we have some innovation because also we have new challenge and also perspective, but mostly we build it there. The objective, maybe that with difference between 23 and the 20, it's about the mandate. The 23 is more about the decade, but for 26, we'll be focusing on accelerating SDG 6. And when through the presentation that Jean done, we is really this opportunity we have there because we have challenge, and especially in Africa regarding access to water and sanitation. We have some principle for this conference. The one is really how we can reinforce water as a driver for peace, prosperity, and resilience. I think today we do not need maybe to demonstrate the place that water have and also sanitation. When we came to the peace, I will not come in some issue that we are having in the world regarding the shared water, but about the prosperity and resilience. We have to promote inclusive and also innovation and action-oriented solution and foster stakeholder. I see my time is running. I'm coming just for the preparatory process and giving you some map. I think the one we had passed is the selection of the adoption of the themes of the conference. We have it 6, and after that we had launched for the candidate for the co-president of this dialogue. We already disclosed it in 17, and before the end of this month, we will have the co-chair. We will continue the consultation of regional thematic. We have it one in Arabic in this regarding in Cairo. But I want also to highlight the Dakar meeting that we will have it 26 to 27, and also the conference that will be held in December. For the Dakar meeting, firstly, all of us in the room, you are invited there, and please mark it in your agenda. But the Dakar meeting, it will be how we can maybe pave the road from Dakar to Abu Dhabi, where we will have time to discuss deeply and interactive dialogue, but also to start to see what will be the outcome of Dakar. We will need to have it as a participatory process, but also inclusiveness, that all the voice will be heard there, and what will be come for this conference will be benefit for all the actors of water, but also the actors outside the box of water. The interactive dialogue, we will see it as we see it. We have 6, and this 6 is really bit about collaboration, because we have 1 year of consultation. And after that, we have these 6. The one that maybe that will be more related to this session, it will be water for people, where we really discuss the human angle of water, access water, of sanitation. For this, I think I will not come to the humanitarian dimension because Dan already have this picture. But just to let you know, it will be essential. It will be also the core of what we will discussing regarding the water access and sanitation. But as we know, it will be also part when it come to cover water and sanitation dimension. I think Siam done is just some idea that I want to share with you to launch the debate. Maybe we'll discuss it deeply after. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Amadou. So now, tu as le clicker. Thank you. So thanks a lot for this clarification about the UN conference process. So now we are going to open the discussion with you and also with the panelists. So we have the pleasure to have one panelist here with us, Beata, and then we have also four panelists online, and Tobias, who is a journalist at the Water Diplomat. But you take the floor to conduct the panel. Thank you.
Very much. Can you hear me like this? Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much for attending. And my name is Tobias Smits. I'm the editor of The Water Diplomat. And The Water Diplomat is a monthly magazine which is supporting Senegal in the communications process towards the UN 2026 agenda. And in that sense, in terms of being inclusive, The Water Diplomat is always open for your initiatives, your flagship projects, etc., to share your news with us so that it can be shared on a global platform with those who read the magazine. So I recommend you to go to thewaterdiplomat.org, and you will find the magazine. Now, we do have some members online, and we will start opening the dialogue and listening to a few of their comments specifically on humanitarian aspects. So I believe the first speakers online are Mr. Michael Kakande and Miss Damali Ajoko. Both of them are they are youth leaders from the Resilient 40 African Youth Climate and Water Network. I think, are you online? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, Michael, can I please invite you to go to maybe we can move to the next question. Just waiting for the slides to change. We can see you now, Michael. It's David, I think, yeah. Next page, please. This one here. Next one.
Slide. Okay.
Right. So Michael and Demali, I don't know who's speaking on your behalf, but thank you, Michael. So the question is, in terms of international humanitarian law, this obliges parties to a conflict to ensure that civilians always have access to water and sanitation services. And this is a crucial aspect to ensure also in a situation of conflict that people have access to these services. And it's something that we have to protect in international law. It's a crucial aspect also in the context of when people are forcibly displaced, in the context of natural disasters, and in prolonged crises, that people maintain their access to water in order not to get into a very, very difficult situation. So how do you think that humanitarian obligations can be more firmly integrated into the global water dialogues? Over to you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Tobias, for posing such a question and of course having us here today. Well, just to walk through anyone who's just seeing or hearing us for the first time, we are the Resilient 40, which is an African climate action network that spans across 30 or more African countries, fronting African youth voices into decision-making processes across the continent, but also globally. Quickly to dive into your question. Well, whereas the world seems to look at humanitarian crisis in an angle of war, even when it's rightly so, we also believe that also the climate crisis as a whole has exacerbated the crisis when it comes to humanitarian cases that we have on the continent. However, it's not been highly documented. And I think that was 2023, we did a declaration on what we called climate mobility in partnership with African Union, Yango, UNICEF, and some other organizations highlighting this. And of course, in there, we're trying to, talk about these issues of WASH, inclusion and all that. And yeah, it is something that was highly received during COP28 in Dubai. But to highlight also when we talk about so much of what is happening right now, we still think that there's need to have more support of youth, women and community leaders from these conflict areas as well as climate affected regions to directly participate, within these processes. It can be at national, but also within global water dialogues. And so, of course, why it has been so, we know, for instance, Africa, where I come from, this is the youngest continent in the world. But when it comes to decision-making or participatory approaches, we find that young people feel still excluded. They're not really part of central to the dialogues. So that still poses a very big issue in respects to the taking of these initiatives. So we feel that as a youth body, probably there should be more youth-centric ways of engaging young people to be part of these processes that can go straight to all these initiatives that we talk about, but also probably to say that we feel there's so much that happens. However,
Michael, I'll just give you 20 more seconds to round off if you don't mind.
All right. Okay. In rounding off, of course, I believe that we need to integrate so much. Of course, we know there's a lot of push from international partners and donors to fund locally led initiatives. but we feel this should really be governed around, that indigenous knowledge of aspect of things and how we do our national water strategies and commitments, just so there's that whole community approach to these initiatives. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Thanks so much for that. And I hear you saying that it's not just a conflict issue, but we also have to look at climate change. And its fragility also results from climate change. And also we need to find ways to get the direct input of these communities into the whole dialogue at the global level. So thank you very much. I pass on then the floor to Ghazi Neumann, delegate from the Sudanese Youth Parliament for Water. And the next question, if we can switch to the next, there we go. So as we approach the UN 2026 Water Conference, how can African member states, particularly those affected by conflict, fragility, and climate change, ensure that the voices of the communities living in these areas are well heard? Over to you, Ghazi. Can you hear us?
I hear you very well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You've got 3 minutes.
Okay, cool. I think it's very important to bring those who are mostly affected by the conflict. For example, I come from Sudan, and the young people and the communities living in those areas are the most affected by this. So I believe there are two stages when we talk about this process. There is a national level stage and the international level stage. So the national level is starting by the government when it established national wash dialogues, where it's bring all those affected people in some kind of a national platforms where they can discuss, share, and provide them their insights and what they experience of those wars. And I'm gonna also emphasize here on the importance of the participation of the young people here, because we have now number of youth networks who are active in the water and sanitation area, and also the climate change. So their inputs are actually very significant when it comes to this process, and also they can support in providing data by doing storytelling and other data sharing processes. At the national level, it could be by create a special space at the national platform for those communities to share their insights, and also to facilitate the participation processes, because often those people who come from unprivileged positions, they bear challenge of accessing for visas, for example, and accessing to those platforms. So facilitating the process of their participation is very important. Also, but promote the partnership between, for example, the UN organization and the international organizations with the local organization whom are actually active on the ground, especially during the conflict time. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, so national dialogues and the national platforms are very important, as I hear you saying, so thanks for that. We'll get back to you later with some follow-up questions. Then I'd like to move on to our next discussant, Mr. Ransford Seki. And the question for you, sir, is what specific actions or commitments should be prioritized when talking about the human right to water and sanitation for the most vulnerable? What specific actions or commitments should be prioritized to protect this right for the most vulnerable people, including displaced people, women and children in crisis-affected areas? Over to you. You have 3 minutes. Ransford, can you hear us?
Thank you very much for this. Please, can you confirm if you can hear me?
I can hear you. We can hear you.
Thank you very much. My name is Ransford Seki, and I'm from Ghana. I work with a civil society organization called CASA Initiative Ghana. So with my question, one thing I would like to point out is the strengthening of policy enforcement and local governance. Then I would like to make a case of Ghana. So Ghana has the National Water Policy in 2007, and also our environmental sanitation policy. So all these policies, if we are able to enforce it as a country, irrespective of the party in power or the government of the day, I think that would be a very important step in achieving this. Also, in line with, we should give our MMDAs, Metropolitan, Municipal, and District Assembly, the autonomous power, and also allocate some resources to them in the achievement of the wash issues in their municipals. I don't know for other countries, but Ghana, such. And the next is also to integrate WASH in our NDCs, in our nationally determined contribution.
Thank you.
We have lots of engagements in our NDCs, but few mandates touches on WASH. So I think when we have that, it's going to improve that. Then the last one I would like to mention is that we should invest
very quickly, Ransford. Thank you.
Very quickly. We should invest in our WASH resilience infrastructure. Like we should provide solar powered boreholes, rainwater harvesting, and wastewater reuse. All should be, as much as possible, be modernized with good technology.
Thank you. Thank you, Rashford. Thank you very much. For the next discussion, we'll move to Dr. Beata Awinpoka from Ghana also. And the question for you is, how can we ensure that the voices of the affected communities and frontline WASH actors directly inform the UN 2026 Water Conference agenda? And which steps can be taken at the national and international levels to make that a reality?
All right.
Good to you, Beata. Thanks.
Thank you. And then good afternoon and morning to the listeners. I represent the Coalition of NGOs in Water and Sanitation Ghana. It's the biggest CSO platform that we do have in Ghana. We have a membership of over 80 NGOs, international and national NGOs. We have academia, and we also have some affiliates, research affiliates. So CONIWAS, for the first part of the question, CONIWAS precisely organizes our annual Mole WASH conferences. So that's one way, as a frontliner, that we bring a lot of the metropolitan municipal chief executives from the local government side that attend these conferences. WASH sector players, over 200 WASH sector players participate to present and discuss issues that are concerning, and in this case, humanitarian WASH activities. I know the last WASH Mole conference, we discussed WASH in emergency situations, and that is one platform. Nationally, we do have this, and then this year, next month, we'll be having the conference. Secondly, we have grassroots participation. So the dialogues we organize grassroots across Ghana, that's at regional and district level, we use citizen scorecards, that we use this to get the voices that will be feeding into national agenda. We also have, and through that, we produce policy papers that informs the policies that we do have. Ransford mentioned the water policy, and it was passed last year, 2024. We just contributed to the sanitation policy that is, which is actually validated. At national level, I think as national government, since we have the South African Deputy Minister here and we have Senegal here, there's a need for us to institutionalize CSO platforms. You need to recognize us in your meetings. In Ghana, we have that relationship with the government, where we work closely with the Ministry of Local Government, Religious and Chieftaincy Affairs, Ministry of Water Resources, and also we have relationship with the legislation. So, and I know USNet in Uganda, KEWASNet in Kenya also have something like that. Secondly, we need to also present the since I'm in the hall, you just give me, since I'm in the hall, so you just give me the opportunity to do this. So there's a need for us to actually present, fund these grassroots people to attend national platforms and also global levels. There's a need for that dialogue. And also we need to empower the youth and women, because they actually, from the data Jean just presented, they know the feelings and it's good for them to present that. Internationally, since we are having this, the preparatory stages, as Amadou spoke about, it's important that we give that platform, AMCAL, and then since Senegal is the lead for AMCAL, so AMCAL plus AU can actually tailor this discussion, invite CONIWAS-like organizations like ourselves, like the other CSOs, to inform the preparatory stages and bring the data. And the last one too is development partners needs to fund grassroots participants, because sometimes we can't get to the table because of finance. So we need to do this. And the global discussions that are finalized, the last one, the findings should actually be localized so that we, the CSOs, will look at the accountability mechanisms to the implementation of these findings. Thank you. I think this is my rights. Thank you so much.
Sorry to put you under pressure for the time, and very grateful that you kept to the indicated time. So we now have some time to pass the microphone to the floor. If you would like to engage with the participants online, we invite you to maybe pose questions to them and to start us off. And would it be possible, Excellency, if I could ask you to say a few words to start off? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tobias and the team. Let's just congratulate you that we are doing an important job. And we're working with the ministry in Senegal. Thanks, my brothers, the Shepherd, and UAE will support them as South Africa, because we think the matter of water and sanitation is important. You know, one of the things I'm going to suggest is that while we are dealing with the most important issue of WASH and around humanitarian issues, the data says there are too many areas that are in conflict. And going forward, the numbers are going to increase. The data that we have presented here, Jean, says more people still don't have access to safe, clean drinking water, more than about 2.2 to 2.4. Access to sanitation, 3.6 to probably 3.5. No hygiene, about probably 2 billion. And in Africa, the numbers don't look good. What we need to say is that those who are practitioners and those who are leading governments, one of the biggest issues we must call for is to call that we must be able to strengthen multilateral institutions that are holding us together. Because if we don't insist on multilateral institutions that they must work, there is a rise in unilateralism that many countries are doing. There's a rise in protectionism. When we have shared agreements like SDGs, shared agreements on climate change, many countries are not honoring them. In other words, our shared prosperity around peace, around justice and development by 2030 is no longer on the horizon, it's going to be shifted. And we know that by 2050, the population will be much bigger, and the challenge of water and sanitation and hygiene will exponentially increase more than 5 times. It will be about 55%. And if there is a deficit right now, the figures, they don't look good. Therefore, let's raise the voice. The conflicts must stop. The conflicts must stop. In Africa, we agreed that on the Africa we want, we must silence the guns. We've missed the point. More guns in Africa, they are actually going ahead. Instability in the Middle East, especially driven by state and non-state actors. In other words, we are very close on the verge of another third world war. That point, we must raise it. The other point that we must raise it is that there must be consequences on humanitarian law. For an example, South Africa, we decided to take Israel to the ICJ. And many people thought we were just sick. But we're correct, because that's what Nelson Mandela taught us. To say any suffering around the world, it must concern us. The other point that I wanted to raise, there is issues that if we don't actually enforce convention around peace, respect for human rights and laws is an important matter. On the issue of financing, we know that many financing partners, others are opting out. We must thank that those who are still remaining. It's an important point, because the vulnerability, if there is no financing, is a problem. But please remember, as Africa, we want financial support, but we don't want handouts. We don't want handouts. We also don't want patronage. We want patriotism and collaboration. The last point, let's build resilient and sensitive communities. In other words, leave nobody behind. NGOs, community-based organizations, traditional leaders, indigenous knowledges, systems that are there, but use the power of advancement in science, engineering, and technology to change the conditions of our people.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Wow, thank you, Excellency, for these amazing words. Very inspiring. About the multilateral system, I completely agree with you. And so there are many points which I could dwell on. I'd like to pass I'd like to open the mic to other people who might want to make points as we move forward. But thank you, Excellency, so much.
إذا ما كان لديهم أي مشاركة أو سؤال.
Good afternoon, everybody. Your Excellency, may I just start by congratulating you and thanking you on your words. You're the first voice I've heard speaking up for traditional rulers across Africa at this conference. So thank you very much for those words. My name is Polly Alakaja. I'm an honorary Nigerian. And I've had the honor and pleasure of being able to work with the most underserved communities across Nigeria and in the northeast and in the northwest of Nigeria. Many of these communities have been pretty much forgotten and left behind. They're in the hands of bandits and insurgencies. My mantra, and unfortunately for some people, I always put communities first. I'm a voice for communities. And I want to see communities put front and center and first, and not as an afterthought. Why must we wait for a conflict to start talking about communities? So we have to involve communities from day one, all the way through all of our thinking, our processes, our development of policies, and our interventions. So I don't want to see communities left to accept the crumbs on the table. I'm a bit concerned about, I'm looking at the 2026 water conference structure. I see people and communities at the top, but it stops there. I would like to see people and communities integrated in all your focus areas, not just left to wash, but holistically involved and integrated in everything.
Thanks a lot for your advice. We are going to stay short because we have short time. We have a question here. You can also ask a question for our panelists.
Thank you, Honorable Minister from South Africa. I am Esther from Nigeria. I want to ask if you are already in contact with our team in Nigeria. From my experience, I work in the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation. We have a department in my ministry that anchors sanitation, wash program. So I will wish that we can link up with the secretariat of this group so that we can link, and with my sister that I just talked, we can work together to see how we can bring matters on board to the UN meeting that we are proposing. Talking of IDPs.
I can answer your point.
Just one point. Just talking of IDPs, we live in Abuja, and I also noticed that there are IDPs even in urban areas. But despite that, they are just there living low, sanitation, zero. Toilets, not really. In fact, the children are affected negatively. They are sick, and because of the environment. So we want it to be addressed.
Thank you very much. So regarding your question, yes, you will have the opportunity to let your contact. That will be done at the end of the session, and we will reapproach you. And you will have also the opportunity to engage, for example, by signing the call to action. So you will see at the end of the session, there will be an open space for you to connect and to commit. Do we have another question in the room? Maybe we have time for the last question or comment. Please be brief. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, my name is Stephen Ferghese from the International Water Management Institute. And I was just wondering, from the panel, what are your thoughts on the ability, how we can progress humanitarian action in WASH that supports to the development spectrum? So after fragility and, after conflict has ceased, how do we ensure that the interventions taken during the humanitarian response lead to sustainable development and livelihoods over time?
Okay, thank you for this question. I think when we talk about the SDG 6, We know the WASH is at the heart of that, but also regarding the SDG globally, when we say to not leave no one behind, and this in this spirit, it's why we talk about the different interactive dialogue. We put water for people and to raise the humanitarian the humanitarian angle, but also the right for access to water and sanitation. I think through this increasing the right for water and sanitation, it's where we link really to have all people and also the community that we can maybe impact for WASH, but also to see how we can give this platform, because the UN Water Conference is most about a platform. We as a country, we may be not decide, but we give this platform, open it, but have also an inclusive process that where we the state, but also all the community can bring there. It's why we are working really to have it this open space, also to share information and to call for action for the actor that can be have place and voice in the room to bring their contribution.
Thanks a lot, Amadou. And maybe to complement, I think Amadou is incarnating or symbolizing your question. He's going to co-host a development conference and is fighting to get the humanitarian WASH on board of it. So I think that the development should support and host and fund for humanitarian response. And this is what we try to do with the UN 2026. Thank you. So we finished about this Q&A, except is there any burning question in the room? Yes.
Hello, I'm Adrian Ruimschoot from Aqua for All. You mentioned the need to get more funding. I think what we see internationally is that funding is drying up. People are pulling back. What avenues do you see for this, and what role do you see for private finance to come on board?
I can answer to that. So the idea of private finance for humanitarian, it never worked. The level, the percentage of private finance, because we have been thinking about private finance for years, and it never really delivered. My humble answer to your question would be more to, it's a little connected to the question we had before. We believe that the preparedness, you were speaking about NDCs and NAPs, we believe that the preparedness should include the humanitarian response, and that the development plans should include the humanitarian response. So it would be my recommendation. The money is there. The problem is to allocate the money on our sector. Our sector, the WASH sector, is new. It was born in 2015 from a UN perspective. So it's a new sector. We need to advocate to get more funds because it's a life-saving sector. Today, there are 4 life-saving sectors, and WASH is one of them. So it's a priority. It's a human priority. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe just a very quick comment on the finance issue. That we just recently, and it covered in the magazine, there was the launch of the Public Development Banks for Water initiative, which is a coalition of, it started with 36 multilateral development banks, which have mobilized more than 103 billion US dollars last year for the water sector. And they want to work together with national development banks in a mix of grants and lending. Together, they estimate that they can mobilize about 1.2 trillion in terms of public finance. It's not just, the problem is to mainstream water within that quantity. So there's a whole lot of advocacy within banks. You wouldn't expect it, but putting water at the forefront of banking is actually an important thing. And a lot of these banks do have concessional finance and grant-based systems. So I think this alliance actually has a lot of potential.
Thanks a lot, Tobias. So we are going to move on our presentation, and I'm going to answer indirectly to your question about how can we engage on that. The first thing, I'm going to come back a little to the call to action, and at the end of the session, we will propose you, especially to member states, to contribute and to sign this call to action. So this call to action has been established by the WASH roadmap. The WASH Roadmap is a collective that was born in 2021 precisely to tackle the growing needs in the WASH sector and the unmet needs in the WASH sector. The call was launched around the UN 2023 Water Conference. So you see that there's an alignment with the diplomatic agenda. It has been conducted at the launching event of the UN 2026, and obviously it's going to go up to the UN 2026 Water Conference. It has been signed by 250 actors and currently by 4 member states. So we have Chad, France, Slovenia, and Switzerland. And we are in negotiation for having a signature from Senegal, from the coast of the next UN conference, obviously, and from other countries. So I really encourage you to sign this call. We are going to see what is inside because it's creating a momentum around the unmet needs for the WASH sector. The call is a non-binding call. It's an aspirational call, and there are 5 messages. The first one is to reaffirm the compliance with the humanitarian principles. You were speaking about the cuts done by the US government and also by most of the European countries in the development assistance. Well, we believe that the principle of humanity is against that. So we want to reaffirm the importance of the humanitarian principles. The second point is about increasing the support to the WASH sector. And this support is also a lot of financial support. So it's not to pass the ball to someone else, but at one point to sit together and to see how we can fund the WASH sector. The third point is about focusing our assistance in priority to the areas where you have the most needs. This seems very evident, but it's not. The areas where you have the most needs, for example, is going to be the conflict areas. And sometimes it's very difficult to deliver our assistance there because we don't have an access or because there are political blockage. I'm thinking about the Gaza Strip. I'm thinking about the east of DRC. I'm thinking about the north of Nigeria, etc. So the call is saying you need to allow humanitarian assistance for the one who need the most of it. The first point is about the implementation of the international humanitarian law. We have been seeing for years in the conflict areas a violation of this law. We saw it in Ukraine, we saw it in Gaza, we see it in many places in Africa. And there are the Geneva Conventions, there are many tools for the states and for the parties to the conflict to apply those laws. I give a very practical example here. What does the call say? The call say to connect with the UN Security Council Resolution 2573, for example, in protecting the WASH personnel and the WASH infrastructures in conflict areas. So it's very concrete, in fact, the application of the IHL. And finally, the last point is about reinforcing and sustaining the governance of the WASH sector. As we say, the WASH sector is a new sector. The right to water is pretty new. The SDG, for the one who have been fighting for the SDG, is a new mechanism. And the UN Water Conference is a baby. Okay, it started in a long time ago, but it restarted in 2023. It's a baby. We need to consolidate that. So the call to action is asking for international governance, a global governance of the water. If you are in agreement with these 5 principles, technically you can sign the call. So what can you do? So I'm turning back to the question we had before, to our lady from Nigeria. What can we do? First, you can sign the call to action. You will have access to a QR code and you can come back to us also. That's the most evident thing to do. You can also promote this call among your partners, among the agencies of your country, among all the actors. Then you can engage your government, like Ghana government, for example, to sign the call. I mean, we have been approaching the French government, the Swiss government, Slovenia, etc. So you can also, as actors of the civil society, for example, engage your government to sign the call. And then to answer your question, you can join this group. So we will give you the opportunity to let your contacts and to be part of this movement, okay? So you can keep in touch with us. You can go to visit the WASH Roadmap website. You can have access to all the details about that, and we can work together on that, to sort that. So now I'm going to pass the floor to Solène. So Solène is online. Solène, can you hear us?
Yes, absolutely. Can you hear me too?
Yeah, perfectly. So Solène, you've got
Great.
10 minutes to describe a little how we can engage to this process.
Absolutely, thanks. I think we can go into the next slide already. Hi, everyone. My name is Solène. I work at Action Against Hunger. I'm a consultant in humanitarian WASH advocacy. Well done for this session. We've heard amazing words and made amazing speeches, both from local organizations and ministries. It's great to be in the same room, kind of, even if we're behind the screen here. Yeah, discuss together on how we can do better and what are our priorities, whatever level we're on. So as Jean said,
Yeah,
I'm
we are
going to
losing you,
present.
Solène.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Yes, I'm going to present you two ways of working collectively towards the preparation of the UN Water Conference of 2026. It's two ways that we have built over one way that we've built within the initiative 8 of the WASH roadmap, and another one that we would really like to invite you to take part in. So the first one is a humanitarian WASH advocacy working group that we've launched recently, and the second one is the second stakeholder consultation organized by the UN Water Conference co-host and their teams in order to make sure that the participatory process of the conference is completely yes, that everyone may participate in it, whatever level they're on. So maybe we can hop into the next slide on the working group. So as I said, it's a very new, it's also a baby, like the conference. It's a new working group that we've launched last month. It's co-launched by the Global WASH Cluster and, as I said, our Initiative 8 within the WASH Roadmap, co-led by Action Against Hunger, the French Water Partnership, and UNICEF. It's a working group that will project itself over the 3 years to come in order to integrate the 2026 conference, but also the 2028 one. And we're aiming to meet regularly in order to share great expertise and practices, especially on advocacy within the sector, and building together an advocacy strategy to make sure that every organization, whatever level they're on, can participate in the preparatory processes of the conference, and that humanitarian WASH is part of the agenda. So the last meeting we've had a couple of weeks back, we got to get to know each other, to discuss the goals of this group, understand why we're here, and kind of brainstorm its terms of reference. And I'm very happy to see some familiar faces in the call, and maybe some in the room as well, of members of this working group. The second meeting now will take place in about a month online, and we will dive into the advocacy methodology we want to put in place for the years to come, and collectively identify what are the main issues within the sector, which will be the first step in order to try to tackle them together. So if you're interested in participating, you're very welcome to write to me, the email that you can see on the screen now. And you'll also see at the very end of the meeting, we'll have a QR code that you can scan if you want to share your contact details. Now, the second way to participate in this preparatory process, thank you, is this great stakeholder consultation that has been launched a couple of weeks back. And we're actually 2 days away from the deadline to respond. So if you haven't yet, please do so. It's very important that we leverage these different tools that are given to us to participate in this process. So it's this consultation is the second one. There was one earlier this year over the spring. It's a way to shape the interactive dialogue concept papers for the UN Water Conference. So as you know, 6 interactive dialogues have been identified. And this consultation gives you the opportunity to question what are the key challenges that you observe on the field, what are some cross-cutting action-oriented solutions that you believe would be worth financing, coordinating, and putting in place, what are some innovative approaches and partnerships you want to put forward, what are some transformative action we could imagine for the future. And if we head into the next slide, we really want to present the interactive dialogue 1, which is water for people, as the entry point for humanitarian WASH. It's really the best idea for us to contribute and influence, and it's really where we will invest our time and energy over the months to come, including in Dakar in January. But of course, other ideas such as Water for Planet for the investments for water, Water for Cooperation, and Water for Prosperity are also very relevant. And we know WASH is a cross-sectoral topic and sector, and we want to work, as Michael said, also on climate. We want to work at every level and with different sectors as well to make sure that we have a coordinated response to that. So before my time is over here, we really want to invite you all to participate in this consultation. In the past, we have complained about the fact that we weren't invited enough to send our feedback and inputs, and this is a way for us to do so. So again, we really strongly advocate for you to do so. And if you can, and if you're interested in the call to action that Jean has just introduced just now, try to grant as much as possible your input into the call to action messages. It is a very strong advocacy tool to be used. It's been signed by over 250 people, organizations, across the world, by 4 countries and possibly new states in the upcoming month. So it's really there for you to use and push your messages. Again, if you're interested in this and need some support, we're very happy to help out in any way. You can leave your contact information and we'll be in touch. Thank you very much, and back to you, Jean.
Yes, thanks a lot, Solène. Yeah, we are clapping here, and then we'll have the QR codes also if you want to connect with us at the end of the session. So we are coming to the end of the session. We are going to have now the conclusions, and it's going to be a 2 voices conclusion. We will have first a speech from the Deputy Sherpa of the UN conference, who is going to reassure us about the process and about the fact that the co-host countries are considering, of course, the humanitarian WASH as a priority. And then we will have another conclusion from a government perspective, from SDC, so from the Swiss Corporation, who will also bring his point of view on the WASH humanitarian emergency and on the UN conference. So please, Amadou, for your conclusion words.
Okay, thank you, John, and thank you for everybody for inviting us to participate to this session that give us really idea on really why we need to involve the humanitarian angle on that. Also to ensure you that as a co-chair Senegal and Emirates, we really committed to have this angle of that, because if you see in the interactive dialogue number 1 for water for population, we ensure also to have impact for those vulnerable people. I think those people who are in this situation need really for that. And this situation, I think, call for our collaborative responsibility to really bring an effective response to this community. Maybe just to respond that when we call also people, we see community on that. We also want to have this conference as open but collaborative. I think Sharon had also raised it, because when we established the dialogue, we had launched one call for the stakeholder, and they contributed. Secondly, we are in a way to have the interactive dialogue concept note, and we had launched also the second consultation for have also the voice of the stakeholder, but notably the civil society. This just bring you the commitment that we have, because as co-chair, we really want maybe to have a platform that all people can contribute it there. I also ensure you that during the Dakar meeting, we will launch with UNDESA 1 day before to have also the engagement of the stakeholder, notably also the civil society. And maybe we do not maybe have the final date, but maybe it will be the 25. We'll come to you for more information. But really to see you, we see the civil society, but also as a partner that can help us to bring this issue of water and sanitation. And maybe just to come in also for the His Excellency when it's called about the multilateralism, we are really ensuring that is important. It's why if you see the interactive dialogue 5, we see to how we can maybe discuss to still have this multilateralism discussion, because for water and sanitation we need really to have this continuous discussion on that, but at the highest level discussion need to have the commitment at the highest level of the political. When you show about engagement, financing, we need really to have it. It's why we need to have this path to continue on that. But maybe just to finish, I want maybe to call all stakeholders to be engaged on this. We'll give this platform. We are open on that, on proposal, on initiative that also can map on this issue. Also, we are really committed to accompany this call of action for WASH on a humanitarian angle, because as Solon say, this WASH is cross-cutting issue, and when we may be committed to that, we can maybe bring solution to the 6th interactive dialogue. Thank you, His Excellency, for this inspirited commitment, but also thank all the stakeholders who will be here also in line, and at least inviting you to join us in Dakar 26 and 27 for to pave the road to UN 26. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, dear Amadou. It's an honor for us to have you here, especially telling these very important words. We are now going to hear about David Kailin. So, David, you're the head of the Swiss Humanitarian Head WASH Expert Group, and you're from SDC EDA. Are you online?
Yes, Jean, and I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, perfectly. So the floor is you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jean. Thank you, everyone, and greetings from Switzerland. I am honored to join you, even if today is just virtual. And thank you to our hosts and partners for bringing together such a diverse community of state, civil society, African and international actors. Today's discussion reminds us that water is far more than just a development issue. It's a matter of peace, dignity, and unfortunately, in too many places still, it is a matter of survival. Across Africa and the Middle East, communities are facing the combined pressure of conflicts, climate extremes, rapid urban growth, all of which directly affects access to safe water and sanitation. And so for the Swiss Agency for Development and the Swiss Humanitarian Aid, we see that humanitarian response alone is not enough. Real impact comes when we link emergency action with longer-term programs, good water governance, when we reinforce service delivery and build climate resilience. This is why Switzerland's approach is bringing together humanitarian and development partners, science and diplomacy, and does it both in the fields and globally. So looking ahead to the UN 2026 Water Conference, this offers us, again, a momentous opportunity to advance an integrated vision and to move from commitments to measurable progress. On our side, in the next few days, Switzerland will formally express its readiness to co-chair the Interactive Dialogue 1 on water for people at the conference. And we strongly encourage African governments and civil society to engage early and actively in shaping the agenda. Our message is simple. We can no longer afford silos between humanitarian aid, development cooperation, and diplomacy. Water and sanitation connects them all, and cooperation on water can be a powerful driver of stability, recovery, and hope. With that, in the form of a conclusion, I'm hoping to meet many of you in person in January in Dakar, where we will be present with a small delegation. And I thank you very much for putting this event together and for being present and listening to me. Greetings to all from Switzerland. Back to you.
Thank you immensely, David, for these words. So we are clapping here in the room, and I'm going now to conclude the session. Just before that, I'll share with you the feedback forms. So here you've got the QR codes. On the left, if you want to send the call to action, you just can go there. You can also go online and find a WASH roadmap call to action. And then if you want to be in touch with us and to be part of this advocacy group, you just need to click on the QR code from the middle or the right. And then we will engage with you. So it was a request from Nigeria. I guess that if you go to the QR code, then you let your contact there and we'll reapproach you. So I think that our panelists deserve a big clap, and also the institutional people who are here and who have been very supportive. So thanks a lot for this great session, and we'll keep you informed for the future, and we'll meet definitively in Dakar in January. Thanks a lot, everyone.
محمد ناصر